I wanted to speak about my own perspective, having watched Sadia Saifuddin's leadership at UC Berkeley over the last 2 years, and having come to know her personally. Those who do know her personally know her to be a woman of integrity, a woman of maturity, a woman of thoughtfulness, a woman of reasonableness, a woman of open-mindedness, and a woman of tolerance. At UC Berkeley, Sadia established Berkeley's first interfaith worship space. She spent a year working on an inter-campus committee to improve UC's campus climate for all students from all communities. And while she worked on divestment, which is divisive and often very difficult, Sadia was what kept UC Berkeley from cracking apart through that experience. She was the one that opened lines of communication between students who opposed divestment and those who supported it. She invited students who were Jewish to Muslim student town halls. She invited Muslim students to Jewish student town halls. Students who opposed divestment adamantly wrote letters of support to the Regents saying that they respect Sadia, they like Sadia, many of them are friends with Sadia, and they're excited that she'll be the next student regent. Thanks very much for your time. Enjoy your time.
Good morning, Regents. I'm Roberta Side, and as a Berkeley alumna and an adjunct faculty at UC Irvine and research director of an international Israel education organization that works closely with UC students, I am deeply concerned that Sadia's appointment will further damage the climate on campus. She has promoted actions that marginalize many students, perhaps not those you heard from today, but many students that we've worked with, particularly most Jewish students. She did not seek compromise with them when she co-sponsored the divisive divestment resolution, and she disparaged and discredited in a letter the campus climate report on Jewish students' experiences. But most disturbing, she is prominent in the anti-Israel boycott campaign, an extremist movement that demonizes the Jewish state, rejects dialogue, and fosters bigotry. I'm afraid that in approving her appointment, you reward this movement.
Dear esteemed members of the UC Regent, my name is George Kadifa, and I'm a UC Berkeley alumnus, and I served as a student senator from 2012 to 2015. Today I have the incredible honor of standing here to ask you to confirm Sadia Saifuddin as UC Regent. I had the privilege of serving alongside Sadia in the ASUC Senate for the past calendar year, and I've worked with her as a fellow member of the MEMSA Middle Eastern Muslim South Asian community. As a senator, Sadia demonstrated herself to be a dedicated public servant of the entire student body. When I worked with Sadia, there were 3 traits she consistently exhibited: tolerance, professionalism, and courage. As a senator, Sadia was committed to creating a more safe and tolerant campus environment for all its students. Sadia was at the forefront of fighting against hate speech on campus, not only targeting her own community, but targeting other communities as well. When a fraternity house hung a noose in front of their door, terrorizing the black community, Sadia was a strong voice in the room in coordinating the ASUC's response. Sadia went out of her way to initiate dialogue across communities. Sadia and I attended an event together put on by TIKVA, Students for Israel, a Zionist organization, on our campus at Jewish Repression in the Arab and Muslim world. Sadia dialogued with the students at the event and set up a meeting with the president of TIKVA in order to continue the conversation. Thank you very much.
Of the University of California, Berkeley campus. Over the last 2 years, I had the pleasure of working with Sadia Saifuddin in a number of capacities, and she has consistently impressed me as exactly the sort of leader that we should all want sitting at this table. Other speakers have noted that she has been a leader beyond her community, working to improve campus climate on a system-wide level. But I'd like to specifically address one piece of legislation on the Berkeley campus that another previous speaker has criticized her for. This would be the bill she authored combating Islamophobia on our campuses. I would like to point out that the bill was unanimously passed with the support of 2 Jewish senators. So the idea that this represents a narrow agenda on behalf of the community is simply not the case. It rather reflects a wider recognition by the entire campus community that this is a growing problem in the post-9/11 environment, and that this simply demonstrates a consistent commitment to fighting intolerance and hate on our campuses, which is something I believe, and we should all believe, is laudable.